1 second. Great. Wow. It seems like this COVID experience, this pandemic experience, it's really taking over in many ways. And yeah, I'm feeling like this might take more time and needs more patience from us and recalibration of our energy and of our expectations, personal expectations, because yeah, we're not the same as we were yesterday, not a minute ago. And in this context, everything has a different connotation, a different color. So I would invite you to shake your hands a little bit. This has to do with renewing our energy. And if you want to shake them, you know, below, and I'm taking my watch out, off. Just shake your hands. And if you want to just close your eyes a little bit. And when I say stop, just stop, but abruptly. And see if you can feel the energy that is left from shaking our hands, okay? So stop. Put your hands on your laps and breathe in. Breathe into the energy that you feel, whatever energy you feel in this moment. And we're going to do it one more time. Just open your eyes if you want and shake your hands. Shake them the whatever way or form. And when I say stop, you stop abruptly and you put your hands on your laps without making any effort, anything, and just close your eyes and feel the whatever energy is happening in you at that moment. Stop. Breathe into your presence. Breathe into whatever is true and present in you at this moment. And let's take 3 deep breaths together. We inhale through our nostrils and we exhale through our mouth. And if you can, exhale with a woo. And you can open your eyes whenever you want, whenever you're ready. I'm thinking and I'm feeling that one of the things that we've been talking, and I've been talking with colleagues, you know, that this COVID or this pandemic brings is that things or days don't look much different from one another, right? There's a lot of similarity. Some of us are blessed to be living in nature or being able to rent a house in nature or to go to nature or have access to nature. But a lot of people that I know in cities are stuck in apartments, and I can't imagine also with kids. And what I just did is one example also of what you can do to differentiate those different Zoom moments. Because families or people in general have many different experiences on Zoom during the day. You know, in conversations with grandparents, in conversation, in classes, everything is happening here. So to find ways to start and to end your moments with them are as important as the content that you put at the center. Just let's differentiate. This is our time together. One thing that you could do, thinking about rituals, is you could have your own way to start and end, and it's a leitmotiv. It's something that repeats, right? Like there's a song, an opening song and a closing song. I'm talking more in general. But you could also, which I love the most, is to mix both. Something that is very, how do you say, that people can know that will happen. I lost the word. Predictable.
Predictable.
Got it. That is very predictable, but also to add something that is surprising. To mix both. So let's imagine this is the way you start your sessions, right? So you stop and you say, okay, now everybody stand up and let's move. Let's walk around the room. I don't care what you're stepping on. Just let's walk around. But have something that is predictable and something unpredictable too. That makes people be present, because there is a word that you might have heard a lot. I lost them, right? There's a phrase, oh, I felt like I'm losing them. Oh, I lost them. So the losing is not their problem. We sometimes think that it's their behavior that is the wrong behavior, but it's us who are not attracting them or engaging them in ways. So try to play with both. That could be a good thing. So Al-Chet moment. And some of us have been together for these, I think it's our 5th workshop. So it's like we've been on a journey. I think I would love to go deeper today in many ways and with you, and I want you to take me deeper by your hand. So we'll see how I can make that interaction happen, because I really want to hear more from you in a way that could benefit everybody. So, al-chet, for the sin, already a word that is very loaded. Sin, pecado, right? I'm seeing Mariana in Brazil. And so how do we even talk about that? What's that word? I want you to start thinking, and if you want to put it in the chat box, what words would you use to replace the word sin if you want to replace it? I'm not telling you to not use it, but if you happen to use the word sin, what would that word be? So I hear, hold on. Whoops. I see hurting someone, mistake, yes. Missing the mark, yes. Yes, mistake, missing the mark, hurting someone, regret your choice, yes. So it's important for us to have a lot of synonyms and vocabulary and imagery. I'm going to share just, hold on. So missing the mark was the one that I used for a long time, right? And as an image, to have a target that you miss as an image could help you throughout Yom Kippur. Because the reality is that as we live, we miss the mark, because that's what is about living. Being alive means having experiences, missing the mark, and recalibrating, like Waze does, like Waze or Google Maps, So talking about mistakes with the sense or with the feeling of this unique thing that happens to some of us, and putting even more weight into it, I think it generates a defensiveness that we want to remove from those who are engaging with us in the experience. So missing the mark, everybody, you go this way and you try this path and it doesn't feel good, but, oh, maybe, yes, I stepped on a stone and, I hurt my knee, so I better come back because this is not the way. And we learn as we go. So missing the mark as one of the concepts. So before we jump into the Al-Chet, I want to bring Yom Kippur first, because Al-Chet, the Al-Chet moment happens on Yom Kippur, the day of forgiveness, the day of repentance, the no hiding place. So mirrors. Mirrors could be, I love seeing you, you know, I'm doing a webinar for URJ rabbis after this, and I begged that it wasn't a webinar, that I wanted to see everybody's faces and that. Okay, so the whole idea that I bring to you and that I would share with you is that Yom Kippur is a non-hiding place. And it's a place where we can't hide. So, for example, at the 92nd Street Y, where I did Yom Kippur in past years, I used to do it in a huge, room, huge room, where the dance department worked. So it was filled with mirrors. And one thing that I was very dramatic, but that I loved, was that people came in, sat down, and the mirrors were covered with heavy curtains. And I had people, you know, placed on different places so that we could all, remove the curtains, and suddenly all the mirrors were, you know, so there was no place we could hide. So Yom Kippur is a place, is a day, is a moment of honesty, of true honesty. And that hurts sometimes. That's uncomfortable because we cannot hide. So playing with hide and seek in the, you know, on the screen, depending on the age of the kids and the families, could be a lot of fun. You could even, you know, ask people to hide you know, by stopping your videos. Okay, so at the count of three, everybody now, at the count of three, we're all going to hide, you know, because we're going to stop our videos. 1, 2, 3, go. Come back, everybody. Come back, everybody. You know, on Yom Kippur, we cannot even do that. That button doesn't even work, you know, or initiate. I'm just saying as an icebreakers, right? But these are icebreakers that open, it's more than breaking the ice, it's opening the heart. So, you know, you can encourage families to play hide and seek. You know, you're gonna give them, I don't know, 3 minutes to play hide and seek among them, and having them move, you know, not being on the screen, also gives them a break from being in front of and more among them. So those are things that I would recommend for you to you know, include in your Yom Kippur experience. But now, as we know, the Al-Chet moment is part of that Yom Kippur. And this workshop that is 75 minutes kind of expands a ritual or an experience or activity that you could do in 10 minutes, in 20 minutes. You, as I said before, you can connect it to other moments on Yom Kippur. I'm not saying that you should do a 75-minute Al-Chet moment. I'm bringing the concept and the creative process together with you. So confession, missing the mark, but in public, sharing it in public, takes the confession, the verbalization of this mistake that I did, this thing that really hurt someone, at a different level. I want to ask you, when you think about, but try to be honest, okay? I hope we can work together honestly about this. When you think about confessing a sin, confessing something that you did wrong, a wrongdoing, what do you feel about that? And in a public space, okay? Not hiding behind the words that are written on the Siddur or the Mahzor. I'm looking. What, and you can unmute yourselves. What feeling comes together with the confessing, saying it out loud?
It's scary. You don't know how people will judge you
I
and
think
what they'll
some of
think.
you are writing. I have to go back. Okay, here. It's scary, worried how people will judge me. Debbie, yes, it's scary. Do we do it anywhere? Do we just confess our sins in the park or at a dinner? Or embarrassing, says Alex. Yeah, it could be very embarrassing. What else? What other feeling you associate? Because if we're not, we need to be very aware of the feelings, because that's what we want to help them with, to go through that process. You feel vulnerable, says Gustavo. Yes, a lot of vulnerability. Desire to be sincere, says Danielle, in what I'm saying. You want to be honest, true, honest. Okay, yes. What else? Max, you want? I
I'm
cannot hear
thinking
you,
about
Max, for some
how
reason. I can't
Can
hear you,
you
but you
hear
are
me?
unmuted.
I am unmuted.
Yeah, can you hear her? You can. So hold on. You can hear Max? Talk, Max, please.
Now I don't know what to
What's
say.
my volume?
Okay, I'm thinking about how in a typical year, you would be, for Al Khayt, you would be in a congregation where people are standing near you, but nobody's really listening to you because they're all kind of, but in a small group or this format, you're actually looking everybody in the face, which seems scarier because it seems less like you can hide when you're standing in a crowd, but not so much on this Zoom.
It's a great point. Thank you, Max. And I'm so happy that I could hear you. There was something with my volume. Yes, and we're going to look into that. How? Because one, it's interesting what you're saying, because we're talking about being apart, right? We are on Zoom, we are apart, we're not in the same room, we didn't go to the synagogue, we're not, so there's, but at the same time, we are facing each other in many ways. We are more exposed. We're, unless you're like this or you don't care, but yes, so what I want to bring as an activity, as a chavaya, as an experience today, has to do with helping families to be intimate in those moments and not to put it out there, because what we don't want to do is to create shame. Shame is associated with a negative feeling. It is part of teshuvah. I'm not saying that it's not part of the process of, realizing and all the personal work to go back to your essence. But in the context of families, we don't want to create a sense of shame in anyone, in nobody. Nobody should feel that. So I'm going to guide you through an experience in a few minutes of what you might want to do with families to go through that process for real, okay? We're not going to sugarcoat it, but we're going to give them so one thing that I could also, I want to invite you to think is maybe how people could be dressed If you're doing this during Yom Kippur, maybe you want to ask people to come in white or to have something, you know, a white shirt or something white as a way to also differentiate ourselves and from other holidays, or because purity and all the symbolism that you can attach. But think about white as a color that you could paint this experience with. I also, so we talked about mirrors, and we're going to talk how to use them. I don't have them with me here. Amazon is not good in Costa Rica, but in past years, I had hearts, but there were stickers. I know there's stickers that are big, this big, and I have pictures on the Shababa Facebook page where you see, so people, as they enter, people put the hearts sticked, you know, because there's stickers in their t-shirts or blouses or tops, okay? And we're gonna use it more, but without saying much. Why? You could, if you're putting together a toolkit for families during the high holidays, you might want to include hearts. And you could say, you know, it's nice to be like intriguing, intriga. So, so don't tell them why you're going to use it, but you could separate it from Yom Kippur and send them stickers not to be used before they join you, okay? So hearts that go here. And this has to do with the al-Chet that we're going to go in a few minutes. But they could be wearing it all the time because there's no hiding place. Even our heart can't hide. We're going to see it. We're going to look at our hearts all the time. This is not like I'm with my heart at times and then, no, it's there with us. Yes, our heartbeats. So hearts, mirrors, and I'll tell you more. So it's good to have also synonyms for confession. So what does it mean to confess? What are we going to do during the al-Chet moment? That is the long, it's a ritual of expanding even more in the vidu. It's expanding even more the moment of saying out loud what we did mistakes. Say, I'm sorry. Yes. Debbie says, say, I'm sorry. So it's acknowledging, is asserting, is declaring, right? It's disclosing, is unloading. There's going to be some sense, hopefully, of relief. Admitting, says Max, yes, right? It's really opening up a book. It's opening up ourselves into this. So have those words that I'm sure you have. I'm just telling you not to get stuck with one way of naming things, because this is, it's like what I told you about, you know, watching the same movie in different times of our lives. You know, you see sometimes a word, the change, the use of a word in this moment or that moment creates an insight. So when I said during when I told you, I think in a post that I did on Facebook the other day, I said, this is a time for insight out. Not the movie Inside Out, but inside out. Something has to happen inside that we realize that has to go out. That it has to go out. And we're going to do this together. Seth says, what about giving out a half heart sticker and then having someone else complete that heart sticker after the process of teshuvah, asking for a receiving forgiveness? Wow, yes, of course. Yes, beautiful. You could even, I'm just thinking, I'm just playing with you, Seth, now. You know, you could send hearts, like half hearts, and send it to different people in your community, and then they have to put it together or send it back. I don't know, it's something to play with, but I love that. Yes, Seth. Guys, I'm just bringing ideas that I hope inspire your ideas that might be even better and more innovative than mine. So this Al-Chet moment is also a time of embodiment. This Al-Chet moment, it's not just a verbal opportunity, an opportunity to verbalize, to say our sins, but to feel our sins, our mistakes, our wrongdoings, to feel them in our bodies. And kids, for me, are a compass to go back to the body, to go back to the embodiment. Because grown-ups, you know, could live on their mind and suffering still, but we can hang out in our minds. You know, I heard, maybe you heard it too, that the mind is a very dangerous neighborhood. You shouldn't be going there by yourself. You shouldn't be going to your mind by yourself. You always need someone to be there protecting you, helping you, caring for you. So if I tell you that the Al-Chet moment has an embodiment, has something very physical in it, could you say why? Or why am I saying this? What do I mean by that? What can we do with our, what can we do with our bodies? What can we do with our bodies that expresses the confession, the Al-Chet moment? What can be put in our bodies? What movement, what motion, what? You're all thinking, I love that. Tightening and relaxing muscles, yes.
My experience is that these moments of missing the mark get stuck in the body. They get lodged in the body. So any kind of movements, from the breath to using our imagination to release them out of our hands, to throw them out into the atmosphere, to get them out so that they're not stuck anymore.
I love that. I love that. Yes, and Jenny, and it also involves the notion of realizing where that stuckness is, right? So feeling, you know, where my, yes, the throat, says my mom. That's my mom there in Argentina, you know, like, yes. Yes.
I was just reading a book with my son the other night, and we were talking about Ida B. Wells, and the topic of lynching came up. He's 8, so we've never talked about lynching before. And he immediately felt the experience in his stomach. He said, I feel sick in my stomach. My sadness is right here. And he put his hands on his belly. And I had forgotten how we lose this sense. They know where the stuff is that gets stuck. So I'm just sharing that as a very recent example.
It's beautiful, yes. And it's so true, you know, sometimes we're not even aware where the feelings, you know, resonate and where they get stuck. Thank you. Anybody else?
I'm wondering if this could be a good place to use the Band-Aid also, so that they could place the Band-Aid where that hurt is or where that stuck is, to be able to show everyone.
Yes. It also, look what Jewish wisdom and tradition gives us. It gives us the lehakot, right? The beating on ourselves. There's nothing more embodiment than the whole action that we do when we confess, when we say. But we're going to even look into this, because I can give you some suggestions about this, okay? But the whole notion of hurting oneself, we're not doing that on others. We're not banging on others' heads. We're doing it on ourselves. And it goes it hits each time we say something that hurts. So as if the words didn't hurt enough, right? There's also this physical thing, but I want to suspend this for a little bit because I want to incorporate in the Havaya, in the experience that we'll do together. So, okay. So let's breathe, Karina. Good. So if the Al-Khet is a moment, the before of this moment could be Yom Kippur in itself. Everything that you want to bring during a Yom Kippur experience, right? That we're not going to dive into that, but depending on when you do this, or if you do it on Yom Kippur, but there has to be, I don't want to say heartbreaker, I don't want to use icebreaker, but there has to be something that brings us together. There has to be a glue. And this is a very, very special moment that we have, that we shouldn't be explaining much about. We could say some things about this. We all miss the mark. I cannot tell you what I'm feeling in this moment when I'm seeing Ezra on Zoom with Alex. I can't tell you what that baby is for. Hi, Ezra. Oh my God, thank you so much. So we are going to bring families into the Al-Khet moment with a lot of privacy included. With a lot of privacy. And how are we going to do this? And this is one idea. So we're going to gather. You can invite all the families to come close to the screen, to wave hello to everybody. And you can frame it as a non-hiding moment. Now let's jump into the actual experience. And what I thought that could be experiential is to invite families to go through the process of the confession by doing things. So I'm going to see if I can show you. Let me see if I can pin my video. Pin video. When I pin my video, do you see me bigger, or you have to also change it to, maybe you want to change it to speaker view so you can see? Yes? Good. So if you change it to speaker view, okay. So what I thought, and again, we're trying things. What I thought could be a good thing, because I've never done this when we were, this is completely new. I'm bringing it up to this laboratory, okay? Creative laboratory. But when I'm thinking about confessing, I want to make sure that I can also feel the result of what saying what I did wrong has in me and in others. So I would, for example, invite family members, everybody in the family, to go far away in the room that they are in, so far that they're really like far, but they can hear to each other, that they will be able to listen to each other. And each family member will be given stones or elements that they have at home that will represent a mistake that they did, a wrongdoing. And I'll tell you what we could do with this. So as part of the introduction, you would invite people to have things at home already ready for this. You could also make it as a game. You know, you have 10 seconds to go and get small things that you can hold in your hands. I'll see you, you know, like you could make it as part of the interaction. So the idea is that there is a center. There is a center in the room, and families are far away from it. So each one at each time will walk towards the center by saying something that they did wrong. So I would say, I never do wrong things, so I don't know what to say. No, it's a mistake. So I would say, I didn't do my bed all this time. So I have to leave a stone where I am and walk. You can also invite your families to say, the person who said it, divarti, I said it, and everybody else in the family says, shamanu, right? Like, I heard you. So each person at each time walks, says something. For example, I ate too much. Divarti. Everybody says shamanu and you walk. The idea is that when you know the Hansel and Gretel story? The idea is that as you walk, you leave behind the stones, your mistakes, your wrongdoings, and you can visualize, you can visualize them. When you get to the center, one thing that you could do is to have lots of mirrors in the center, to look at each other, to look at oneself, to look at the others, to embrace. You could even have a rope where everybody is inside of the rope together. This is not a time, this is not, as you know, the Al-Khair is not a forgiving time. This is not a time to forgive people. This is a time to put everything on the table. Dirty laundry out. This is the dirty laundry moment. So this is not about fixing, or this is about having the guts, having the chutzpah too, and the courage to say. Then we get together and we could sing something. But the whole idea that I wanted to bring more so is that mistakes could be seen, not only said, could be seen and could trace our path and leave them behind, but not erasing them. It's not that they disappear, it's not magic, it's there because Yom Kippur hasn't finished and the process of Teshuvah is going on, okay? Keeps going. So let me see, I'm gonna stop. Maybe use actually dirty laundry instead of stones. Yes, why not? If you are brave enough to do that. Striking, rubbing the heart, nap time. I know, I could see Ezra was there. So let me unpin my video. Any reactions to this? And then I will tell you a few.
I love how you made it so concrete, because we think that it's only the children that need it concrete, which they do, but I think it also helps the grown-ups to be very concrete. Can you say again the words that you were using as people stepped forward?
Divarti means I said it. I said it. Shamanu is we heard you. And it's another way of Yes, there it is. Dibarti and Shamanu. Thank you, Jenny, for putting it in the chat. This is another way of, starting to be familiar with Hebrew words. So I would like to first hear if you have any other insights in the spirit of playfulness. Oh, Seth, I want to hear. Maybe we can call out a sin and a place and place a stone. Our loved ones could step forward closer because this is what actually happens. So true. Place a stone, our love. But can I hear more about this? Because the idea is that everybody walks towards each other. Can you explain a little bit more, Seth, what you're suggesting?
Yeah, I was just thinking of playing with it in a different way, that I think in part of it, the ability to be strong and have chutzpah and be brave, as you said, and to call out the ways that we might have hurt others, we're bringing people closer to us, right? We're afraid to do it. There's a lot blocking it, but in the concept of embodiment, if what we're trying to do is close those relationships up, thinking about maybe we're not the only person who moves when we share something, when we admit a wrong, that maybe that invites other people to move closer also.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, and I love that idea so much, Seth. And I'm thinking about the generosity when somebody takes the risk to share a mistake that they made. The way that we can receive that gracefully is with some generosity of taking a step closer, and saying, yes, we can repair this. We can come closer together.
So what
goes with the shamati. Maybe that could be that's the shamati, right? Dibarti, I'm admitting my wrong and coming closer to you. Shamati, I'm hearing it and it's drawing me closer to you.
I'm reciprocating, yeah.
So I want to understand better, because I don't think in what I said, people are far away from each other and walking towards a common, like a center. Everybody's walking. How different is that from what you are saying, Seth or Jenny?
It's similar, except that maybe there's a way to play with it in a different iteration where it's not necessarily like you might walk up, you might say Dibarti, and then when somebody hears it, they can step forward and say Shamati.
Ah, I see. So the ones that are moving towards are the people that are hearing, not the one that is...
Or both maybe, but in some way because that process of, and you're saying it's not forgiveness yet, but the process of admitting you're wrong draws people closer to you. And if we wanted to teach that to kids, that when you admit something wrong, people aren't going to stay far away from you. When you admit a weakness or admit a mistake, it draws people closer.
That's beautiful. That could be done, if I'm understanding you, that could be done also in a circle, but it's one at a time. One confesses, but everybody moves towards that. Okay, I like that. Yeah, I like that. The idea is that we move on, we bring ourselves together, and also we are visualizing also the heaviness, and the release of unloading, as we say. I love that. There's a song that you might have heard me sing. It's a song called Because I Love You So Much. If you want, I can sing it to you a little bit now. Yes. But it could be also I'm thinking a nice closure to each one of the, because whether I forgive you for this specifically, I love you, right? A little bit of unconditional love. So that song says, and it's on Spotify, but it says, because I love you so much, because I love you so much, so much, so much, because I love you so much, with all my heart, because, and it's in English and in Spanish. Yes, we need a lot of love and caring for admitting all these things and going through this. So that's why
I have a question for you.
What?
While the families would be doing this, would you just have silence on Zoom, or would you maybe put music on so people aren't hearing what other people are saying?
If people are muted, you don't hear them. You make sure that families are muted. I wouldn't put music if it might distract them, or yes, unless it's you know, the so like the music for the Shamnu, or but I think silence would be nice, because it's also hard to hear, you know, all these things, and some people whisper their mistakes. But it's a
Yeah,
great
I'm
question.
imagining people really being engaged with one another. So hearing something else going on would take away from the intimacy that this moment
I agree. I agree.
offer. And I love how this is something that is so intergenerational. You know, everything you talk about, for children to see parents saying the things that they've done wrong and vice versa, and modeling that. And it's play in that it is playful, but it's not, there's nothing pediatric about this. This is exactly what it is at every age. It's very authentic at every age.
Thank you. Yeah, and I think that, you know, I'm thinking about the before. Maybe there's a conversation that you could have with families, with parents to talk about this, because I would like for grown-ups to really take risks about confessing. Confessing not things that are not appropriate for a kid to hear, okay? I have a lover, whatever. You understand what I'm talking about. But yes, to not say what I did, what I said today. I didn't do my bed. No, I scream too much. Or I get impatient, you know, I lose my, you know, my patience too often. Or, you know, I'm not buying enough organic food. Or, but really because what you're saying, Jenny, is modeling honesty. It's so hard unless you're honest yourself. You can't talk about it. You can't talk about it. So thank you. Yes. So I would like to share with you a few ways to do the al-Chet, or the Yashamnu. And I'm going to, give me a second. I'm going to put in the chat. Okay. They say that I cannot minimize when I'm recording, which I'm not going to touch this because I'm so afraid. The other day I had to do the workshop again because, okay, so I'm going to, now we know each other. I'm going to share my screen. You're going to see my desktop that at this point you're familiar with. Okay, do you prefer, I'm going to put it in the, I'm going to put both in the chat so I can see you singing. And you can sing it too. Okay. Oops. I think I deleted something, but whatever. We're gonna get it. Okay. So let's go to the moment of saying, right? Of beating on ourselves. One way of doing it is doing, you know, teaching kids to close their fist and, you know, and everybody do this. What I've been doing for many years is not to hit oneself with a fist, but with an open hand. Because I feel that hitting oneself, but at the same time, caring for oneself, being nice to oneself, caressing oneself, it brings the hurt and the love at the same time. So you could even say, you could choose where you want to do this or when you want to open your hand and do it with an open hand, with an open heart. So do you see the lyrics there? Yes? Great. So the first one, And you're muted, so you can sing really out loud, okay? So let's imagine people are standing. You can invite them to stand, and you can start. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Can we sing together? Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. I am so. Oh wait, 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 wait. My mommy is sharing her screen. Okay, this happened the other day. Mother, stop sharing the screen. Okay, she might be, thank you, mommy. Don't touch that. That's okay, don't touch, no worries. Okay, this is real time, okay? This is real time. An intergenerational time, okay? My mother is 80, okay? And she's on a computer, so that's already amazing. Okay, so for each thing that we're going to mention, we can invite friends to, hit oneself, okay? I am sorry, so sorry for lying, for fighting, for not being true to myself. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Sing with me. I am sorry, so sorry for yelling, not listening, with an open heart and mind. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. I see a typo. I am sorry, so sorry for not sharing, not caring enough about my family and friends. I'm sorry, so sorry for not saying I love you every day and every night. Okay, everybody, get ready because you're going to add more things that you are sorry for to the song, okay? You can unmute yourselves. I am sorry, so sorry for
Not always being present in the moment.
Amen. Yes. What else? Yes, and you add and you ask people to keep saying things and grown-ups, and you make sure that if someone, if only kids are saying, you invite grown-ups, and someone who's in the back, who's not so close to the camera, please come closer. I want also to hear you. Like really look into the screen, and you go, ya la 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 la. So this is a way of singing the traditional melody, the nusach for this moment, into a way that is not, for me, at least as how I see it, not pediatric. You can put real stuff, but people can hear it. In fact, my husband, Marcelo, during Yom Kippur, in this moment, he sings it at moments, Alex, no? You heard him? He sings it like this. He does the whole thing, and then he goes, I am sorry, and everybody goes, I am sorry, because sometimes we hide behind the words that are on the book. So bringing English, sometimes it's like, whoops, oh, is this what I'm saying? you know, and some people even dance to this as if this was a happy moment because the music is so beautiful. You see, like, people are not even connecting to the words that we are saying. So you could even, in the services with grown-ups that you do, you might want to bring a little bit of this, like surprise them a little bit so that they can understand what you're saying, you know. I'm sorry for, I don't know, because crimes and you know, it could help you. Okay, so the other song was, it's with the Avinu Malkeinu melody, and it was, the words are written by Shira Kobrin, a wonderful musician and colleague. And it goes like, hold on. I'm sorry for what I did wrong. I'm sorry for what I did wrong. I'll try to be caring, more loving and sharing. Forgive me for what I did wrong. I'll try to be the best that I can be. I'll try with all of my might to do what I know is right. So it's using also a traditional melody and adapted to the words of this moment. Thank you. I will send you the songs sung, like the videos sung like this, so you can have them and use them if you want. So before I open the floor, I would like to also say that there's a word. Yes, I would send you the lyrics also. I would send you everything. There's a word that I think we need to highlight in this Al Chet moment, and is the word for. It's easy to say, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. You know how many times we say it in very colloquial ways, but to say I'm sorry for changes everything. You're not just saying I'm sorry, you're saying I'm sorry for something specific. And that is so hard to say. So, you know, I would pay tribute to the word for in the Al Chet moment. So, and the after, it's, you know, singing together, is hanging out together during Yom Kippur. This is not over. You could even, if you feel like, you could end with a forgiveness thing. If this is the Yom Kippur thing, you know, you might want to end with asking, you know, for forgiveness and everybody saying, I forgive you, and find a way. I didn't go into that today, but you need to decide how you're going to use this. So I'm opening the floor. I'm opening mics. You can ask me about this. You can connect this moment to other moments that we've been together. If you want to clarify something, I'm here for you.
I'll share one thing I was thinking about. Thanks for bearing with me, as Ezra has been a little bit of a terror today. You know, I was thinking about sort of stringing together a couple moments, you know, for the service, and to have, you know, there's a lot of objects and sort of things we're hoping to have people engage with in the house. And something I thought of for today was like, what if we had them do a scavenger hunt at the very beginning and say, okay, you know, here's the 5 objects you're going to need, you know, for this service. Go out in your house and find, you know, something that represents, you know, tshuva, something that represents, you know, the shofar, something that represents whatever. And that's sort of like the first 5-10 minutes is them engaging with their home and talking with their parents and saying, like, is this object the right object? Is that object? And then you can go into your service and sort of have each and every object ready to go. That was my idea that came to me.
Beautiful idea. Beautiful idea. Beautiful idea. You know, Alex, as I said before, and I didn't say it, it was Esther Perel's, we're working with home, not from home. So yes, I love that. What else?
Karina, I would love to invite you and maybe others to share any creative thoughts really about that final forgiveness moment. I mean, of course, it's never final, right? We keep the doors open, the locks, the gates are still open for a longer time, but it does feel like a moment where some coming really close would feel good. So I'm curious what you have in mind.
I was just thinking, when you said gates, I was thinking decorating doors, you know, decorating maybe the main door of that, if there's a main door in the house, you know, or there's a, and opening the door, right? And closing it, but a whole ceremony, really visual of, that is one of the ideas. And
What if the family created a gate physically that's open, and then they all come together like in a group hug, and that would be closing the gate?
yeah.
It's very Ne'ilah. It's very the gates of Ne'ilah. That
Yes.
part could fit in really nicely.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking about doors, like actual, they're in their house, there are lots of doors, doors that open, and doors, maybe asking people, you know, before Neila starts, to make sure that all doors are open. That, you know, go around the house or your one bedroom apartment or studio, whatever, make sure that all the doors, you know, wherever you are open, because they're going to be closing, and you can even send everybody to the different doors in the house and do a countdown, you know, and everybody closing doors and with a countdown, and then coming together and dancing, you know, this, I don't know, I feel like dance parties are so important, so necessary. They include hugs, they include words. I'm going to think about it, and please share. Yeah, maybe we can do a gathering of forgiveness to bring some more ideas.
You might, if you had enough entrances in the room, you could have that one door decorated. You could all come in like a different entrance where you're placing your stones, right? You could all come in, but then you could leave together.
Yes, love it. Yes. This whole idea, you know, when you start prioritizing the intentionality of all of this, it's endless what we can do. It's really endless, because it's also so connected to the emotions. And this is something that I would love to empower you when you start with this process, even today or tomorrow, if you have the chance to be with family and with kids, is to bring the emotional language, the social emotional life at the forefront, because otherwise it's class and you could learn about things, but I think we have the opportunity to connect with feelings through this, to zoom in, not to zoom out. So if I may, because we have just a few more minutes, and you can always tell me if you have something else to say, and I'm sure you have. I want to give you a few announcements. One announcement is that on July 22nd and August 10th, I've invited Ruben Segal from Argentina. Ruben is a teacher, but he is also a theater coach, and he's an alchemist. He's somebody out of this world. and I've always dreamed of doing something with him. And we agreed on this. So we are working on 7 days of recreation. It's 2 sessions that we're going to dive into the 7 days of creation, but from a very spiritual, playful entrance. This is not going to be so much about a toolkit, but because this is, and this is what we have been talking together with Ruben, this is about creation. We cannot prescribe creation. We cannot prescribe creativity. We want to help you be the most creative selves you could be in this moment. So there will be games that you will learn and that you could do later for the first day. And I can't tell you much, but it's also an opportunity to free your creative selves, to free them. And I think it's going to be fantastic. If I don't get enough people for the 22nd, I might postpone that day, and maybe Jenny can join that first session because Jenny signed up, but the 20th, you can't be there on the 22nd. But my hope is that we have a lot of people dancing and on the floor, and it will be less than this, more like this. And I think it will be a gift for your souls, definitely. That's July 22nd, and August 10th is on my website. You can check it out. That is mostly what I wanted to highlight, because it'd be different from this. Yes, Debbie, you wanted to say something? Sorry, I saw you unmuted.
No, I was asking for the dates, but you did it. Thank you.
July 22nd, and it also went on the newsletter. Are you getting my newsletters? Because you're here. I'm happy. Sorry, I make mistakes sometimes I didn't change the date but don't miss that. And if you have friends, even if they don't work with families, this could be done, as part of the Lul. It could be good for yourselves.
Karina, could you share more insights to use the heart stickers?
Well, I don't know I think that wearing the heart stickers is like pointing. It's like highlighting, highlighting what we're going to do, opening our hearts, in order to forgive, you have to have a huge heart. You have to have a huge heart. So for me, but it could be another thing, but it was so beautiful to see everybody in white with their red hearts here. And also they didn't know what it was all about. And suddenly they had it, and you could see that the sticker, fell, and they had to put it again. So the whole motion of being aware that our hearts were there gave even something cute to it. But I think that Yom Kippur is all about not hiding our hearts, our minds, our vulnerability, our humanity. So, and it's close to where we do the Al-Chet. So, putting it there. I don't know does anybody have any other suggestions to Mariana or about?
It just seems like such a great reminder. Also, many adults forget that they have hearts and they're being invited to remember.
Yeah. I had other ideas, for example, for the Al-Chet. I'm going to jump back before we say goodbye. I was thinking, even when you said lynching, Jenny, about your son, I was even thinking, families lynching and having ribbons, in the center that could be those mistakes, those physical things in the center, and lynching, like fighting over these mistakes and then releasing the lynching, like releasing. Well, is that lynching when you pull from a rope? How do you call? Sorry, thank God I'm asking.
Like tug of war kind of is more what you're thinking of.
Okay, I thought that could also be tug of war, pulling from a rope from both sides of a rope and having, you know, like the tension of holding, you know, ribbons that could be the mistakes on the, and the tension and then releasing and letting them fall. Yeah, lynching means something. Yes, Seth.
When you have everyone walking together, would you consider doing something else Rosh Hashanah in the center? You know, because I think there's some moment once you get everyone in whatever way that you design it, when everyone comes together in the center, that's a nice moment too. Could you do something like apples and honey in the middle? Like, would you take a moment for families to sit together and, like, I don't know, is there another way to just celebrate that moment of coming together?
Yes, you know, even a conversation with a topic, or, you know, that you give them, or a song that they sing, or going under a talit, or, yeah, there's so many beautiful songs. I think that togetherness, because sometimes we're in the same apartment, but we don't even share like a dinner table. Even eating together that close, and nobody can leave that space, but having something to eat, apples and honey maybe, as you said. Yes, I think if you heard me in other workshops, I always talk about a process that is inspire, transform, create, and celebrate. That when you go through a creative process, or in leading something creative, you first inspire people, then you transform something with them. You co-create something in that space that was transformed, and you can't go next without celebrating. And that togetherness that you're talking about, Seth, and everybody spoke in so many moments, for me is the celebration, coming together, but being together. Not just, oh, we walk together, no, we stay, we remain, we celebrate. So, my dear ones, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to you, and for showing up and being with us and being with each other. So let's keep going. I hope I can see you in other moments. I know I will. The next one, I don't remember what it is. Yes, Debbie?
I just want to say thank you for just sharing your whole concept, because when I think back to all the years I've done family service, it's been a service. It's been, you know, how many ways can you do the same prayers, the same everything? And this is just so out of the box for me, and really helps me reframe and think about experiences. It's freed us up from being in shul to really think differently. So thank you for sharing and inspiring.